Hello, my name is Jiso, and I wrote on my posting yesterday that that Dōgen's 6-page rant about Vimalakirti seemed to chime with things that Brad Warner has said about certain people who establish themselves as enlightened gurus and put themselves across on YouTube or television or in some transformative centre where for only $2,500 you can be guaranteed an enlightenment experience and so on. Now, I don't know much about Vimalakirti himself. I'm sure he was a good guy. He was a lay Buddhist around the same time as Gautama Buddha lived, and there are some Vimalakirti sutras and lots of stuff written about him. But I think Dōgen was perhaps pointing to people who often present themselves as gurus with perhaps slightly questionable qualifications. Anyway, let's crack on with it. I don't have any qualifications, I just have a raksu. I'm reading Master Dōgen's Shōbōgenzō, and we're on chapter 74, Tenborin, turning the Dharma wheel. Ten means turn, ho means Dharma, or the Buddha teaching, and rin means wheel, in Sanskrit kakra. In ancient India, a kakra was a wheel with pointed spokes used as a weapon. The Buddha's preaching was likened to the turning of a kakra, and thus Tenborin, or the turning of the Dharma wheel, refers to the preaching of Buddhism. In this chapter, Master Dōgen explains the true meaning of preaching Buddhism. Before his explanation, he quotes the words of several masters on what happens when someone realizes the truth and returns to the origin, in order to illustrate the value of Buddhist scriptures written in China. Some people have insisted that only scriptures written in India qualify as being genuine Buddhist scriptures, and therefore the scriptures that were written in China do not expound true Buddhism. But Master Dōgen takes a wider view. He says that any scripture quoted by a true Buddhist master is a true Buddhist scripture, even if it was written outside of India. He insists that when a true Buddhist master quotes a scripture, the act confirms the scripture as a true Buddhist teaching. From this, Master Dōgen explains that the preaching of Buddhism can be done in all places and at all times, and these preachings thus have universal validity. At the same time, he asserts that to preach true Buddhism is to practice Zazen throughout one's life. Okay, this is quite short. Let's get into it. My late master Tendo, the eternal Buddha, in formal preaching in the Dharma hall quotes, "The world-honored one said, when a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions totally disappears." The master comments, "This is just the preaching of the world-honored one, but everyone has been unable to avoid producing odd interpretations of it. Tendo is not like that. When a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, a beggar boy breaks his food bowl." Master Ho-En of Gosozan Mountain said, "When a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions is jostling." Master Busho Hotai said, "When a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions is just space in the 10 directions." Zen Master Engo Kokugon of Kasan Mountain said, "When a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions puts on flowers over brocade." Daibatsu says, "When a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions exhibits the truth and returns to the origin." The expression quoted now, that when a person exhibits the truth and returns to the origin, space in the 10 directions totally disappears, is an expression in the Shōbōgenzō Sutra. The long title of the Chinese scripture in question is I'm not going to read that. Shōbōgenzō Sutra of the Great Buddha Head Tathagata's understanding of the myriad ways in which bodhisattvas secretly rely upon practice and experience. Completed in 705. Amazing. The same phrase has been discussed by several Buddhist patriarchs. Consequently, this phrase is truly the bones and marrow of Buddhist patriarchs and the eyes of Buddhist patriarchs. My intention in saying so is as follows. Some insist that the 10 fascicle version of the Shōbōgenzō Sutra is a forged sutra. Describes Chinese sutras that falsely purported to be translations of Sanskrit sutras. Thank you. While others insist that it is not a forged sutra. The two arguments have persisted from the distant past until today. There is an older translation and there is a new translation. The version that is doubted is not these, but a translation produced during the Shinryu era. However, Master Gosen Hoen, Master Busho Hotai, and my late Master Tendo, the Eternal Buddha, have each quoted the above phrase already. So this phrase has already been turned into the Dharma wheel of Buddhist patriarchs. It is the Buddhist patriarchs' Dharma wheel turning. Thus, this phrase has already turned Buddhist patriarchs, and this phrase has already preached Buddhist patriarchs. By reason of being preached by Buddhist patriarchs and preaching Buddhist patriarchs, even if a sutra is forged, once Buddhist patriarchs have preached and quoted it, it is truly a sutra of Buddhas and a sutra of patriarchs, and it is the intimately experienced Dharma wheel of the Buddhist patriarch. Even tiles and pebbles, even yellow leaves, even an Udumbara flower, and even a robe of golden brocade are, once picked up by Buddhist patriarchs, the Buddha's Dharma wheel and the Buddha's right Dharma eye treasury. Remember, when living beings transcend their realization of the right state of truth, they are Buddhist patriarchs. They are the teachers and students of Buddhist patriarchs, and they are the skin, flesh, bones, and marrow of Buddhist patriarchs. They no longer see as their brothers the living beings who were formerly their brothers, for Buddhist patriarchs are their brothers. In the same way, even if every sentence of the 10 fascicles is forged, the present phase is a transcendent phase, a phase of Buddhas. Sorry, this word is phrase. I'm going to start that sentence again. In the same way, even if every sentence of the 10 fascicles is forged, the present phrase is a transcendent phrase, a phrase of Buddhas and a phrase of patriarchs, one that should never be classed with other sentences and other phrases. Although this phrase is a transcendent phrase, we should not imagine that every sentence in the whole volume is, in essence and form, a saying of the Buddha or the words of a patriarch. We should not see every sentence as the eye of learning in practice. There are many reasons not to compare the present phrase and other phrases. I would like to take up one among them. What has been called turning the Dharma wheel is the behaviour of Buddhist patriarchs. No Buddhist patriarch has ever gone without turning the Dharma wheel. In the real situation of turning the Dharma wheel, Buddhist patriarchs use sound and form to get rid of sound and form, or they turn the Dharma wheel springing free of sound and form, or they turn the Dharma wheel scooping out the eye, or they turn the Dharma wheel holding up a fist. This at a place where nostrils are grasped, or at a place where space is grasped, is the Dharma wheel naturally turning itself. To grasp the present phrase is, here and now, just to grasp the bright star, to grasp a nose, to grasp peach blossoms, or to grasp space. They are one. To grasp the present phrase is to grasp the Buddhist patriarch and to grasp the Dharma wheel. They are one. This principle is definitely the turning of the Dharma wheel. Turning the Dharma wheel means striving to learn in practice throughout a life without leaving the temple grounds. It means requesting the benevolence of the teaching and pursuing the truth upon long platforms. Shōbōgenzō Tenborin, preached to the assembly at Kippo Temple in Etsu on the 27th day of the second lunar month in the second year of Kangen, 1244. Nice. We have some way to go. 95 chapters or fascicles in this edition of Shōbōgenzō. So, yeah, we're not quite there yet. We might read the appendix as well. All right. Thanks for listening. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit today, aren't I? Do take care. Bye.